Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Robin Keefe, and thank you for joining us on Hidden Gems. I'm glad you actually clicked on the video because you saw a conversation about being successful and your beliefs being compromised. And I get to sit down with a fly young man, a fly young man with a fresh shape up. You know what I'm saying? Well, Chocolate Brother himself, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Best. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, man. It's good to see you.
Hey, it's good to see you too, my dude.
Absolutely,
you
man.
clean. You know what I'm saying? That cream is different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody cream
Friday
don't look like that.
afternoon, take the kids to school, pick them up, lay. It ain't nothing special.
Oh, you chilling. You chilling.
Special.
So, family, what we're gonna do today? We're gonna talk with Brandon, man. A little bit of my history with Brandon. We met in the suburbs of Philly when my wife and I were doing foster care with our children. He was one of the coaches in this Upward, right?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
They had the kids play games, but then they had an adult run, right? Now the kids played, and we had a good time, but he's like, "Oh, you should come back for the adult run." That's when I knew my knee wasn't what it used to be, because Brandon flying across the court like this with a layup, moving back, shooting threes. I was like, "What is this? Is this LA Fitness? Like, where are we at?"
I can't do that no more. Just to let you know.
Well, Ben, yo, bro, you and like what I enjoyed about you, man, you were so welcoming, relationally, like, and
For sure.
and I think in that space of the suburbs of Philadelphia, in that particular area, there's not a lot of black folk,
Wasn't a lot of us, man.
right? Or
still not actually. I'm still up there, so still
okay.
not. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't a lot of black folk in that area. And then for me, I always there's a black folk check. Okay, there's the uppity brother who seemed like he never had no good barbecue and no good southern food.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and then there's the brother that knows how to eat good barbecue, right, and eat grandma's cooking, but also enjoy a casserole from time to time.
For sure.
Right? And so I was like, yo, we feel like kindred, dog. We feel like kindred. So yeah, man, tell a little people about who you are, man, like where you come from, what's your worldview, all that stuff, dog.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Once again, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you for thinking enough of me to have me on your platform. Like,
you, sir.
I'm probably not worthy of your platform, but I appreciate you for that. So, like you said, my name is Brandon Best. I am a Philly boy, born and raised, man, from the Germantown section of Philly. Grew up I don't have a crazy story, so if you tuned in waiting for me to give you some kind of crazy backstory, locked up, drugs this, drugs that, this probably ain't your episode, but but at the end of the day, man, I'm blessed at the end of the day. Grew up in Germantown. Germantown by no means was suburban. Germantown was the inner city, right on Mars Street, Fernhill Park, like Pulaski area.
Yeah. My dad lived off Top Hocking.
Okay. All right. So
right around the corner from Germantown High.
Yeah. So we moved. So at a certain point, so I grew up in Germantown. I guess I was about 11 or 12. Parents, did pretty well, middle class. My father was a business owner. At a certain point, things started to get a little better, like from a financial standpoint. So we moved up a little bit, like George and Wheezy.
Yeah.
We moved up. We went to Mount Airy. So moved up a little bit. So grew up in Mount Airy from 12 till about I went to college. I went to Delaware State University. Roxborough High School, backtracking a little bit, went to Roxborough High School, then went to Delaware State University, where I was able to major in business finance and marketing, cut my teeth in the HBCU space there. Met my wife there, my lovely wife, who we're approaching. I got to get this right, because she always be like, no, it's
online.
But
It's online.
We're approaching 19 years, though.
Let's go.
19 years, 3 boys. 3 wonderful boys. Got a 19-year-old, 16-year-old, and a 12-year-old. I always got to get that right because they so close together too. But we're blessed, man. Blessed family, man. We if you follow me and you see some of the stuff that we get to do. But as they get older, it's a blessing and a curse, because it's sad, because their life goes on, right? Like, they got their own lives. They got things that they want to do. But we enjoy it, and we still try to find time to enjoy ourselves as much as our schedules are busy too. So
No, that's dope. Like your family is a beautiful family. It's like that nice black photo with all the black folks in the
Yeah,
church.
people at my church would say that's the fan family. We would come in church. That's the family that be on the front of the
On the
church
front
fan.
church
Like,
fan, or
I'm like, y'all crazy, man.
when
I
people
guess.
like invite you to church, they be
Yeah,
like, yeah, put them on,
yeah,
put them
yeah,
up
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, bro. So tell us. So you went to a HBCU?
I did. Proud
Yep.
HBCU alum. Yes.
Yes, sir. I never had a chance to. I'm a proud historical black community college kind of dude. You know what I'm saying? I went to
Cool.
community.
Hey, that works too, man. We take you in.
Yeah, but no, bro. I love HBCUs. Like one of my friends, one of the photographers is kind of taking photos of some of the stuff that we do. He does a lot of stuff with HBCUs in reference to photography, and that's the richness and story, the culture. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like in general, depending on how much money you have, the way people film black culture is literally just filming at HBCU in a different space.
It is, man. It is. It's a different world, man. It's it was that one chance. And although I grew up in the inner city, right? You grew up in Philly, and you're surrounded by your culture, but going to an HBCU or and experiencing just the culture in itself, it's different. It's and it sounds cliche, but it's a community. Like everybody, that love is there. There's a centralized love, like when you're part of that culture. It's different, man. It's hard to explain. It's just different.
Yeah. So how do you? So you get into college. You graduate what degree?
Business finance, actually.
Right. So how do we find you in marketing? Right. Because I think one day. So I'm thinking maybe regular 9 to 5 dude. You know what I'm saying? Go home at 6 p.m. You know what I'm saying?
Well, when you first met me?
When I first met you, I'm like thinking this is your life, right? Like
you
go home, you know what I'm saying? You helping out with the laundry on Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? You cook some meals, wifey.
I am domestic though, man. I cook and I clean.
Okay,
man.
great.
My wife will tell you. She would probably admit I'm the cook in the house. So I do a little bit of that.
So I had some of that right? But then I looked up one day on Instagram, and you working with iHeartRadio. I'm like, oh, maybe he's just a guest with hanging out with somebody. Then I see more photos, and then I look and I'm like, wait, who is Brandon? Like, what is Brandon doing, dog? Like, how did you get? Because what it is marketing and advertising. So how do you get in this world?
Yes, so so before that and getting out of school, so I grew up actually, and I don't know if you knew this or not, but I grew up in the automotive world, working on cars. That's what my father's business was in. So I grew up learning that craft, like learning that skill. My father owned a business in Germantown and Mount Airy. It got bigger, it grew. And I grew up always wanting to, hang around my father. My father was a dope person. My father was just, he was just that guy to a lot of people, a genuine heart, genuine soul, loved everybody and would give the shirt off his back for anybody. So I grew up with that in that kind of household. So I always wanted to be around my father, period. Like it didn't matter what he did. Like if he woke up early on a Saturday morning at 7:00, I was up because I didn't know what he was about to go do, but I knew I wanted to be a part of it. I'm like, you ain't leaving me. Like, so I'm getting up. So, so I grew up in my father's business. I grew up learning how to work on cars.
Wow.
But watching my father and coming of that, you learned how to deal with people, right? You learned about relationships. My father, I've seen people give my father in his business, like as they got older and couldn't drive or their parents couldn't drive anymore and they've been servicing their vehicles with him. He's that technician or that mechanic that you can trust, right? He's built relationships and really like family ships with a lot of these people. They've become like not blood relatives, but they become family because that's how long he's been dealing with them. But I watch people just give him cars because it's like, you're the person we trust to do with this. My mother can't drive anymore. My father can't drive. Take this, do something with it. And then he'll turn around and figure out, all right, who needs a car in the church or who needs something? And he would give it away. Like that's who he was, paying it forward, I guess you would say. So I grew up in that business, learning how to work on cars. I still do till this day. That's a hobby of mine. I still do. I help family, friends.
So when it comes time to like, this is bothering my car, I can go, Brandon.
Yeah,
I know
but you ain't local no more.
No,
though.
but I'm gonna take pictures and tell you what I'm experiencing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I
'cause
mostly with my role now, like in trying to find time and balance, I'm mostly more of a consultant now for a lot of people because honestly, if I don't have the time, I just can't. I really don't know where to pull that time from. So, but if it's quick or something I can do, absolutely. But yeah, I'm more of a consultant.
So you're one of those people that would like buy an old car and
Oh,
build it.
100%. The right car though. It's got to be the right brand and the right.
What's the
and,
right car and right brand, bro?
I mean, to me, if somebody comes to me today, and anybody knows this who sees this, but if you ask me, hey, I'm looking for a car, what should I look at? Toyota first. So if you're looking for a used car, look for a Toyota. And then if you want the luxury version of that, look at the Lexus. I'm a big Lexus guy, big time Lexus. I've
We know who car we're shooting.
22 of those in my lifetime. So
I know we're gonna shoot promos in your car. I promise you.
but yeah, so that's what it would be. But I grew up doing that. My father wanted me to go that way. But I wanted to also create my own lane and didn't necessarily want to live in my father's shadow. Although it wouldn't have been anything wrong with that. But I wanted to create kind of my own thing. So I went to school, went to Delaware State, and I wanted to figure out, all right, how can I make this world collide within the automotive space? When I came out of school, I did work in the automotive space. So I worked for Mercedes-Benz. I worked for Land Rover Jaguar. Wow. I worked for BMW. So I worked for some of the higher end. But at the same time, it still wasn't allowing me to like fulfill really what I wanted to fulfill. And ultimately for me, that was being able to find a way to take care of people, right? Like putting myself in positions. Now, ultimately, that world does that for you. But working in that world on the corporate side, though, you know, it's all about revenue, right? Like, let's just bring in as much as we can bring in. And it's not so much looked upon to tell somebody like, hey, you know, maybe you shouldn't be spending this kind of money in repairing this car. You know, that culture is more like, you know, just taking as much as you can take in, So I didn't feel satisfied in that space. It was great because I was able to build relationships and got to know a lot of people, some prominent people. But I wasn't fulfilling, like, for me, it was taking care of people, and especially growing up working with my father. My father never, ever took advantage of anybody. And I'm not saying that's what these places do, but that's the sense to a certain degree as sometimes I felt like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm doing a job and I'm working for an organization. And that's the goal at the end of the day. Like, your number should be here, your number should be here. So I wasn't fulfilled in that. So I kept my hand in the space on the side where I could help people, right? If I can do something for you to help you save money, save costs, I'm going to do that. So that's what I did. That's why I do it. That's why I still do it. I try to help people ultimately at the end of the day. But still missing something, though, like from a full-time perspective. And that's when iHeart opportunity came across my plate. Having the opportunity to use my education, right? And the stuff that I've learned. I'm minored in marketing. So using that part and what I've learned, going into an organization and working primarily in an urban city, because with iHeart Philly, of course, there's multiple platforms with iHeart Philly. There's multiple radio stations, but there's a heavy urban presence, right? Some historical stations like the WDASs of the world and the Power 99s of the world. So to be able to be in that and understanding and growing up under those stations, right? Like the Peace on the Streets and, you know, those big days that WDAS would do back in the day. I'm like, this opportunity came along and I'm like, I can make an impact there. That was the goal for me in life was, you know, we had this saying in church for forever, you know, making an impact for the kingdom of God everywhere. So I try to implement that into what I do for work. You know, yeah, it's a paycheck, right? It's a career, but I try to find opportunities that allow me to make an impact and connect with people for God's kingdom ultimately, whether that's how you just seeing how I live, I'm gonna make an impact like that because I'm gonna be the person and the Christian that I grew up to be. So I found my way into iHeart. Was spent about almost 5 years at iHeart in that time and got to do some amazing things and some wonderful people and still family with all those people from the radio stations to behind the scenes. So that's how I got to iHeart to answer that question. I hope that helps.
No, it does help. And it's funny because as you're telling the story, you know, I'm a storyteller. So I'm like seeing the imagery of your father helping people and this business that came out of a space of desires to help. And then you're like, yo, I want to walk in my, you know, walking in my father's footsteps would be like a blessing and you honor your father, right? And I think that's dope.
Yep, absolutely.
But I see you walking in similar footsteps, right? In a way not doing the automotive thing. Like, you're still helping out in some capacity.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is that even in your job, your vocational stuff, it's like about helping people, right? So this mindset that was like bred by your father from a culture of your home, you're still taking over all the overall principle,
Yes.
right? And did that. And so how does that lend you into your role today? Like, what are you doing now?
Yeah, so now I work in the NCAA space primarily under the HBCU umbrella. So my organization that I work for is called Wagner Sports Entertainment. So majority of colleges and universities and conferences across the country have what's called a multimedia rights partner / sponsorship partner, meaning that from the biggest schools to the smallest schools, from the PWIs to the HBCUs, 90% of schools have a MMR partner. And we're one of the bigger players in this space. And that MMR partner is, I negotiate media rights for specific conferences and schools and different classics and things like that that go on, as well as the sponsorship angle. So corporate sponsorships, when you see the naming and the branding on the TV of a game presented by, titled by, I'm negotiating and managing those deals and those contracts. The way that this bleeds over my underlining, right, and wanting to help people, the way that I knew this was a great fit for me, because it allowed me to tap back into my HBCU culture, my HBCU family.
Yes, sir.
I was fortunate enough so we manage and negotiate my company about 75 schools, conferences, universities across the country. So that's from your PWIs down to really small properties, small events, small schools. So I was fortunate enough to, have my shoulder tapped on, like, hey, listen, I want to have a conversation with you about an opportunity that we got. I see the work you're doing over there. Just want to see if you're interested in it. And it happened to be coming in as the general manager and running this. And I have a great team. My senior VP is phenomenal. He pulled me in and we just hit the ground running. And he's been there for a while. But it was almost like a match made in heaven for the work that we're doing. We were given the roles and responsibilities of managing and negotiating a few HBCU properties under our belt. So come in, hey, take over that. And for me, it was like, are you serious? Like, I'm a HBCU alum. I got passion. I got love for this space. But now this gives me an opportunity to technically work in the space every single day, but also making an impact on the lives of HBCU students, alumni, fans, and the different events that we curate, the different things that we manage throughout the year. Some big events that have been going on for 50 plus years. I am now at the head of the table in making those things happen and coming up with new ideas and figuring out, all right, how can we make this thing go another 50 years? Like, what do we need to do? As well as some new things that are coming to the table where they're like, hey, we see the work that y'all are doing over there. Hey, can you also help us over there with some prominent HBCU institutions like the Howard Universities of the world, the Morehouses of the world, but being able to impact those universities and those campuses and connecting these corporate level $billion, multi-million dollar corporations, being able to connect them to the HBCU space where the people in the C-suites of those organizations don't necessarily align with the HBCU level, but they want to know how to connect, and being able to be that middleman to be able to say, hey, this may be a space where you need to play in, right?
Yeah.
Like this university over here, or this classic, or this particular conference tournament is something that you might want to tie into because the demographic that you're trying to reach, they're here, right? This is where and I can help you do that. So then being able to connect that and the things that come out of those things is what's fulfilling to me. That's where I'm like, you know what, I'm making an impact over here because now students have new opportunities for internships, with organizations like the FBI or like Secret Service, things that they didn't have, but I have those relationships where it's like, I'm bringing this opportunity over here where typically it wouldn't really come that way, but we're doing a great work in that space, man. And I'm excited about like where a lot of these opportunities go, and even more excited year after year of the new organizations, which we're grateful for, the new organizations that want to be a part and figure out how to fit in. Like, how do we connect to those students over there? How do we get them in our programs? How do we let them know about the jobs that we have for African Americans and opportunities for them to come into the space that typically students wouldn't even think of because, the mind is so small and you think as an HBCU student, many of these students, it's an imposter syndrome. Oh, I can never apply to the FBI because I would never be able to get in. I'm black. I don't fit that mold and what it looks like. But not knowing at the end of the day, there's a whole initiative to pull more of us in. So to be able to connect those dots, that's the impact for me that I get excited about every day.
My brain is going. My brain is going because there's a few things I need to hit on. But the first one I want to say is like I relate to the story only because for a couple of reasons. One, about a year ago, worked on a project about STEM and some students with the griot, and I got to be one of the lead editors on that project. And as they're talking about these young black women who love STEM, and I was just like, man, I didn't even have some of these opportunities to even explore. It's like even like what you're doing.
Me either.
Like what you're doing right now, like it's interesting because like for some of us creatives who have started in behind the scenes stuff, music, photography, or whatever.
Yep.
Sometimes growing up in the church, you get smacked with a label called creative director, art director. Not knowing these cultural terms have so many different definitions in different sectors, right?
Yeah.
But hearing what you're talking about in advertisement, right? I'm like marketing advertisement is really ideation, right? Like it is. It is. So tell us a little bit about that because I know as I'm sitting here, I'm like, bro, you're not putting together no flyers. You're not designing no stuff. Like what we talking about? Like everybody in our mind got to do everything. So like, help us understand how do you get into this space because, my dude, you are giving life,
man.
dog.
So I think the biggest thing, and it's funny you say that too. So I think the biggest thing is, I talk to students all the time, right? Not even students, even some professionals too, that they see what we do, they see what I'm doing, and they want to tap in, right? They want to get in. Even, especially for me, I'm in such a unique spot, even for a lot of athletes. So even a lot of professional athletes that I get reached out all the time by professional athletes that, they might be in year 2, 3, whatever, in their respective professional space, right? But that world of being a professional athlete, it's numbered, right? It has a shelf life. So a lot of these athletes get to a point where it's like, all right, I'm not, they get to the point of like realizing like, all right, I'm not going to be, everybody can't be Kobe, everybody can't be LeBron, everybody can't be Michael Vick. And they get to a point where they realize like, my days are probably numbered, right? They come to that realization. So we get reached out all the time by athletes a lot of times, and they want to get into what we do because they see it's sports and they think it's a easy transition. I was just having this conversation today.
My man said it ain't easy, dog. Don't get twisted.
Exactly. And it's not easy. And I say all that because I think, when you ask the question, how do you get in this space? I think one, doing the research first, right? Like understanding advertising and marketing, period. So understanding what that means, because that can be so complex. Like you said, they get people, I have a conversation about the things that we do. And it's like, oh, well, I don't just have to put together a flyer or I'm not just advertising your event that's coming up. Well, so what do you mean? You're not just, so what is advertising? And I'm asking the question, what is advertising to you? A lot of people don't understand, like the marketing and advertising is so complex. I've had students that have applied for positions, right? They see a position posted, marketing or marketing director needed, and automatically they're like, oh man, that's what I want to do. That's what I majored in. That's what I studied. That's what I like. Then they go on to the interview, right? And then they find out that they're going to be in Sam's Club or BJ's selling pans or selling knives. And that is a form of marketing and advertising, right? There's so many different forms. Social media, right? That can also be a form. Somebody may want you on their team, but they want you to manage the social media platform, right? So now you got to figure out what that looks like. What strategy? What are the systems I can use to help me time post and push things out? But that's another element of it, right? So that limits maybe what you're thinking marketing and advertising is. Like, so that might not necessarily be something that you want to do. So I think first thing I would say, do the research, figure out what you want to do when it comes to advertising and marketing. Advertising is, as crazy as this sounds, that guy that puts that suit on at tax season, that stands outside of the tax building, and he's just, that's advertising and marketing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like you got to understand what it is that you want to do, because also sales, certain aspects of sales, that's part of my day-to-day job too, is a sales role, right? I'm putting on the sales hat because at the end of the day, I have to build relationships with these organizations. I'm going into these meetings, right? I'm getting on these phone calls. I'm getting on these Zoom calls with, like I said, Fortune 500, multi-billion-dollar organizations. And a lot of times I'm getting on with a team that doesn't look like me, but at the end of the day, I got to pitch to them. I got to sell to them. Why is this HBCU demo? Why is a Howard University or why is a Virginia State University the platform or the demographic where you need to be spending money at? Why is the CIAA as a conference valuable enough where you need to be spending money at? So I also have to do my research on that, figuring out what is their demo, right? What is their goal before I get on these phone calls and conversations? Because sometimes, although I'm on the phone and have these conversations with organizations or I'm at dinners with them, just because they're trying to reach an African-American demo, it doesn't necessarily mean I got what is right for them, nor what their objective is right for me. And I'm not going to put my stuff or my platforms or my schools in those positions. So I think the biggest thing, do the research, figure out what marketing is for you, because you may want to stand outside of that tax building. Like that might be what you want to do. You may not want to be as complex. So it's figuring out what you want to do. And there's various organizations and in what level, because you don't necessarily have to be on the collegiate platform. You could be somewhat doing what I'm doing on other platforms. I mean, the music and entertainment, that's what I was doing at iHeart. That was music and entertainment. It wasn't sports and entertainment, but it's figuring out what it is that you want to do. And I would always recommend, if you have the opportunity, this is for like the younger, that collegiate, that student, internships are key. Like internships are key. As I look for people to come in our marketing coordinator roles and things like that, if somebody has a little bit of experience, like just to understand the space, and you don't fully have to understand what we do, but just in understanding the space, you can come from Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Home Depot. I mean, but just to like understand the space of an organization, not even the marketing space, just to understand the space of how organizations work. And if you want to be in this space, those things are like a true highlight to us, like understanding how organizations work from the inside. Even if you're working at Chick-fil-A taking orders, like those things are valuable.
Yo, like you're dropping so many, this is the part of what Hidden Gems is about. Like through the conversation, you get a lot of nuggets. So if you could coin a definition, because there's a thread for you from iHeartRadio to where you are right now.
For sure.
Right. So what would you, how would you coin the term? Someone said, Brandon, what is marketing and advertisement? I heard you say, hey, qualify it, do research. But give me like a definition for, marketing and advertisement for dummies. Come on.
So easy, like marketing and advertisement is getting a brand or an organization in front of the demo they're trying to reach. Basically, at the end of the day, that's what it is. These organizations want to make money. The only way they make money is putting themselves in position where they're seen and they're heard. The only way they're seen and they're heard is they need platforms and organizations like your platform. They need platforms like this that people are paying attention to and watching. Like my platform, it can be small, it can be big. They need the platform. So it's giving that opportunity of that brand to shine in a light that reaches their target demographic. Simple as that.
I love that. And I love the part that you said small or big, right? Because I think a lot of people think it all has to be big, right? But you can maximize your demographic, and your demographic might be a solid 1,000 people. Like I think in general, when you look at social media, most of us got like at least 500 friends.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
more than you need sometimes.
Right, so more than you need. Like everybody be in your business. So do you feel like there's a ceiling though for Black professionals when it comes to marketing? Like, because sometimes it can feel like that for folks. Like, talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, right, where the world is, right, all things aren't equal. That's the mindset of many. So, yeah, I think that I don't think there's a ceiling. If I'm answering that from my perspective, I do think the world, and depending on who you're talking to, they make it seem as though there is a ceiling, right? But I don't. I never lived. I never lived like I want to get to this point right here. Even now, as I work, and I talk to my SVP all the time about it. It's like, all right, what's next? Like, how do we grow this space within our organization? All right, what's next? How do I grow in my role within the organization, right? So no, I don't think from my perspective there is a ceiling, but I think that the world can make us think a lot of times that there is, right? There's limits, which sucks, that you're not good enough as an African American.
Yeah.
I listened to an interview the other day, and it was so profound to me. Actually, it's Barack Obama was doing an interview the other day, and the one thing that he said was, don't let people make you think you're not good enough.
Yes, sir.
That was powerful to me. Like,
Yes, sir.
super powerful, because I talk to people all the time that they have this imposter syndrome. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And the world will make you think you're not good enough. And like he said, until you go sit in these rooms and you talk to these people and you like, wait a minute, your role is what? And you can carry a conversation and you can talk to them. It's like, oh yeah, I do belong here. So I think, the world will make you think that there's a ceiling, but no, there's no ceiling. For me, the sky is the limit. Like, I'm not done. Like, I don't know what, I won't say I know what God has for me, right? And where this role takes me, but I'm never complacent, right? I'm never sitting there like, oh, I'm satisfied here. Like, I'm good. Like, like I said, I like to help people.
Yeah.
If there's a way that I can help another 1,000 people, another 10,000
Yes, sir.
people, that's where I want to get to. Another 100,000, that's ultimately where I want to get to. It's not, I think everything comes from that. I also think another thing, people always look at things and careers, they look at the money aspect, right? Like, it's all about, well, how much can I make? And I get this all the time when we interview people. How much can I make? Oh, I want to come in at this. I want to come in at this. But it's like,
I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you finish. When people come, like, I did this. I've done this. Like, yo, I need to come in like at 110. And I'm like, I have no full-fledged understanding of this particular space outside of what people said it was in this other space. And it's like, I need to come in at 110. And it's like, what qualifies you for the 110? I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you get into it.
But you're right though. It happens all the time. But I think what people need to do, you got to get your money, like you do. And I know cost of living, and and I ain't making millions of dollars myself a year. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, balling out. But there's something else that fulfills me though, right? Like the money to me is a bonus. Like, that's just icing on top of the cake. I think you first need to enjoy the space that you're working in before anything else, right? You can make all the money. And I know some people who, they make a killing, but they miserable though. Yeah, money don't solve everything. So I think people need to realize that too, man. Like, you need to lead with something else. The money will come, right? Like, if this is where you're called to be at, right? This is where you're supposed to make an impact at. Like, eventually the money will come, because your work will show your value. Like, what you're passionate about will show your value, and that will come. So I do think that's very important. Very important.
You had a sermonette just now. You had a little sermonette.
One of you pastors can use it, man.
What are you pastors? What are you?
I ain't gonna use it.
So it's funny because I think when we talk, like, I know I made that segue, but the reality is, it's like, you're a believer in Jesus Christ, and you're in the marketplace, right, where many might not believe what you believe, brother. And so, how do you navigate your faith and being in the marketplace at such a, I'm gonna say, a high level? I know there's other levels.
Sure.
I got
you.
That's all I can see right now.
Yeah, I got you. I understand.
But yeah, like, help me understand, like, how do you navigate your faith in these spaces, like?
Man, you know what? I was gonna say I'm lucky, man, but I'm blessed, man. I've been blessed to grow up, as I mentioned, in a 2-family home. I grew up in the church. Me and my siblings, my family, we grew up in the church. And like I mentioned, kind of starting out, I don't have no crazy story. Like, I never really, kind of geared away from my beliefs and how I grew up and who I was. And my father plays a big role, my mother and father, but just spending all that time with my father as well, like just kind of growing up, kind of plays a big role in it because I always understood, you treat people good, like you treat people with the love of the Lord, right? Like I don't come into a situation that I don't meet strangers, I guess I would say. I love everybody until you give me a reason not to love you. And I mean, I'm still from Germantown, so I still, yeah, what I'm saying, like that's still in me. So I'm gonna give you that grace, but
that fight is real.
For real.
No matter how old you get, Philly folk, we want to fight.
Like I'm not gonna let you disrespect me. I'm not gonna let you disrespect my family. Like that's not gonna happen. But just the way I live, I believe there's more value in approaching the situation. So being in the workspace, and everybody's not. They don't believe what I believe, right? There some that have never been in the church, right? Some that don't know what the Bible is, some that have never read a scripture. But I understand that, and those are the parts that I love the most. Like I love working around people like that, right? Because I want to show up, and although I'm not one of those people, I'm not going to beat the Bible down you. I'm not going to beat church down you. But what I do is I live it. So you see it every day. Yeah. If you work with me, you experience it every day. So it gives you no choice but to be like, yo, Brandon, there's something different about you, man. Like, what's different about you? Oh, you want to talk about it? Oh, this is who I am. This is how I grew up. Like, this is, come to church on Sunday with me. Like, I can show you a little bit more. Like, so I've been fortunate enough to be able to carry that all my life. And it's like a game to me. Like I love it. Like I encounter people all the time, every day. They don't have the same beliefs, but then also I'm blessed too because I've also been able to be in spaces where a lot of people do. Like I've come into iHearts, and I've come into where I'm at now, and even working in the automotive space where, those believers are around. Like so, it's like, oh man, like okay, you.
It's like you start showing. It's like you'll be in the workplace. You'll be working hard.
Yep.
Right. You'll be diligent. You'll have a smile on your face.
Yep.
And I'm not saying these are the categories that people have to use, but there's just like this innate. The joy of the Lord is your strength piece, right?
Yeah.
That you live, you're flowing in.
Yep.
And people are like, yo.
Yep.
Why are you so hyped?
Yeah,
like why are you so excited?
Exactly. That's it, man.
Why are you so what's the word? Persevering with folks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but that's it, man. I mean, I've had people, it's crazy because I've had people ask me like, yo, why you smile all the time, man? Like,
bro, you do be having that Colgate.
I'm like, bro, why not? I'm like, why not?
Some of our teeth bad.
Well, yeah, that's true. Some people probably, yeah.
Everybody can't go full Grinch.
You ain't talking about yourself though, bro. Like,
well, I got a couple missing.
Nah, man.
But God is
good. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah, I've seen some. I've seen some. They're taking bite out of crown.
But yeah, I'd be like, why not? Like, listen, bro. Like, we here. Think about it. Like, there's so many people that wish, and I take it back to even working for the dealerships and the car. Like, yo, there's so many people out there, even right now, there's so many people out there that wish they could just be mopping the floor in the organization that you at a different position in. There's so many people that are like, yo, I can't find a job for nothing. I can't. Yo, they contemplating, robbing and stealing and probably even killing just to put food on the table. Like, yo, why not smile? Like, thank God, pray for those people for sure. Like, I ultimately pray for a total shift in this world when it comes to homelessness and just the unemployment piece. That's part of my prayer every single day, man. That's one of the things I pray for every day. But it's like, why not smile?
One of my friends was, as we were working on us setting up for these interviews, one of my friends goes, she says, are you having fun? And I was like, no, we had to change this around, we had to change that around, I'm not having fun yet. And she was like, some of us have to work regular jobs. Some of us have to sit and push papers and be in a bunch of meetings. Everyone does not get to edit content and sit down and have conversations that they do regular. And they were like, she was like, please enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and the Bible talks about going through various trials, and you meet those things when you start talking about what I'm saying, the perseverance of the saints and not being emotionally wavering with every wind, and living in the moment in those moments. And so I was challenged by that, and that was dope. And that's pretty much what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly it, man. I mean, it's there's people, and we need those people, right? Like we need school teachers, which I think they're the most underpaid job
Everybody
in the
says
world.
that.
Absolutely 100%. I think the roles should be reversed, and I've said this a long time. Like athletes should start with teacher salaries. Teachers should have athlete salaries.
Jeez. You just made my wife's best friend excited. She threw a hand up in a shondo when you said that.
And I mean it. My sister's an educator, and my
Yeah.
sister's, she's in the city, and we could be doing that. We need them, right? Like we could be doing that, and the things that you have to deal with in cities like the Phillies of the world, right? Like the Charlottes and all these Atlantas and the big cities. We could be doing that. We could have to deal with the things that they have to deal with that they shouldn't have to deal with.
Yep.
But yet they wake up every single day because ultimately they know it's a bigger purpose. They could walk away from those jobs at any point, right? And they could go work retail, or they could go work at a restaurant or something, but they know it's important. The role that they serve is important. So, but that's why I keep a smile on my face. I mean, and that's why that makes it easy for me to do every single day. And plus I have a purpose. Like you got to understand, like, what are you here for? Like I told you, I want to help other people.
Yeah.
Like that's my thing. I want to help other people as much as I can. And I found a space to help other people. But I think people, once you realize, I think your life does start to shift and change once you realize what your purpose is, right? Like, what's your reason? My pastor used to preach a sermon that he would use all the time, and I fell in love with the word because I love words. I love words that are different. I don't speak any other language. Well, I do speak a little Swahili, but I love, but I love words that are different. And he used to preach a sermon, and it was about finding your purpose. And he would say, "What is your raison d'être?" Right, French word. Right.
He snapped.
Purpose. Yeah. Like, what is your reason? What is your reason for being? I think once you figure out what your raison d'etre is, like your mind does something different, and you start to put yourself in positions that you leading to your purpose, right? Getting to your purpose. And I think a lot of times, instead of the money, just kind of going back to that, don't focus on the money, focus on what that purpose is. What's your reason? And then let that lead you into your profession.
I want to push a little bit on the whole let's not focus on money, because people who usually say I ain't rich, but I'm doing all right. Like that's what you pretty much say. Like it becomes a difficult space to navigate. Like, cause like there are some dudes who've come into understanding that they're into marketing and advertisement, and now they're in their 30s. They got families. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like 60, you know what I'm saying, 40K, 50K. Like that. I'm not dissing anybody making 40K. But if I got that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like now we're in this space. So how do we, in your mind, like rectify the piece of like not making X amount, right? But also enjoying the space. Like right now, I'm enjoying the space of where I'm at, right? You know what I'm saying? Could there be more dollars eventually? Yes. As having my own business and like working with friends, have seasons of leanness. Like you're like, oh my gosh, and my wife is like, don't buy nothing. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
my wife been telling me that for 19 years, man.
Yeah, but look at that hoodie though. That's a nice hoodie though. But yeah, kind of like just talk us a little bit about that, like that balance that you strike between the knowing that the market is this, knowing value, getting in, even for some of the older creators, because I think for the college kids, I totally get it. But for those dudes who are after 28, ladies who are after 28, like how do they reconcile that?
So I'll just kind of add to that, and I understand what you're saying. I think you still want dreams and goals though, right? So it's like I'm not saying just take whatever and just be satisfied and comfortable with whatever and everything comes. I think you still got to be aggressive in your thought, right? I know some people struggle with this. I never understood why, but I have a hard time understanding people who don't. I don't care if you're 40, 50, 60, who don't have dreams and goals. Like I think you always need to aspire to want something, right? I think that's why we wake up every day.
Yes, sir.
At least you should wake up every day because there's something else I need to go after and get. So I'm not saying like, tapping into the space or you're in the space and you're comfortable there, because I've met people like that. Like you're saying, like that 28-year-old or that 38-year-old, they're fine. Like, oh, I'm at iHeart. I'm making 50. I get free tickets to concerts. I do a lot of shows. I go to a lot of events. this is where I'm fine at. I think that's a dangerous space to be in, like just kind of being complacent. You're fine with the perks. I think, as time goes on and you have more experience, I do think oftentimes you should tap the water in your respective profession, right? Because there is somebody who's willing to look at your experience and say, oh, I need her. Oh, I need Rob over here, right? Like those things create that. And I think my focus more so was on like that student, right? That alum fresh out of school. Because that's what I get hit with a lot of.
Bro, this conversation that we're having is so encouraging. But I'm going to talk. I need to kind of bring it to some culturally relevant things for a second.
For sure, man.
Because one day, like I said, I look up. You're doing iHeartRadio, taking pictures with the celebrities. Got tickets at the concerts. Like you, that guy, right?
I don't know about that.
And then one day, I see you walking across the NCAA Final Four game, and I'm like, "Where's Brandon at now? Like who's listening?
Probably working,
right?" And I see. But it came at a time for me, brother, that when I was finding why it was so intriguing to me, not just because you was at famous places and things like that, it was because I was learning a lot about NIL, right? And I follow this advertisement thing. There's this dude who used to work for Nike.
That's such a sweet topic.
Right. It's a sweet topic and a hot button topic, but it's only because Uncle Dion has created a space for that. So one of the things for me was talk to me a little bit about what you're seeing in the NIL spaces and the marketing from Dion and his sons, man. Because I like the eyebrows going up.
You want me to be candid, or what
we'll
you want,
candid,
or you want
whatever you don't like. We'll be candid and whatever you don't like.
Man.
Let's talk about it, bro. Because I think in general, Dion's space and his son's space are a little bit different because they've been on television for a very long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, that's an anomaly.
It's a little different, yeah.
They've been in front of cameras, they've been living this life. They know where to go and get the KFC chicken. They know where to go get the chicken.
Exactly. And we're not to go. Yeah,
we're not to go to get the chicken. But in general, it is a phenomenon, and it is very, very attractive. And I would argue has beefed up NIL, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Your eyebrows. It's telling a story. So go ahead, lean in.
So, I have this conversation a lot. Of course, I play a little bit of a role in it in the stuff that I do, and what we do. That's part of what we do. NIL has to be a part of these conversations. Has to be a part of sponsors coming into the mix, and so we have these conversations. I have a love-hate for NIL. Probably more, some athletes ain't gonna like this, but probably more of a hate than a love for it. So I love it because I do absolutely 100% think the athletes should get some type of compensation. 100%, no doubt about it. Been saying it for a long time, even before this whole NIL thing 4 years ago. And a lot of us fail to realize this is only 4 years old. So it's not even, NIL is not even that old. So I have a love-hate for it, and there's a few different reasons. So I do think athletes need to get paid. I do think they need to be compensated because a lot of the revenue that is driven to a lot of these schools, especially the larger universities and schools, the reason they can build these buildings and build parking lots and, create new majors is because of the dollars that are driven in through the revenue that's coming in through athletics, especially a lot of these larger football schools. Where I hate it is what it's doing to the athlete specifically, directly to the athlete, the mindset that athletes are in now, the mindset that high school athletes are in, because it does trickle down to that. And I'll tell you about that. I'll tell you about that in a minute, what's happening with that and what it has done to the families of these athletes, which is the most important and bigger piece. So in talking about that, so I'm a big time sports guy. Grew up sports guy, athlete, way before I was in this world. Kid, I was an athlete, played ball in high school, was actually going to college to play ball. I decided to go to Delaware State. I could have went to a really small school and played ball, but at the end of the day, I knew I was focused on my education. I knew I wasn't going to the league. It would have been fun, but at the same time, I was realistic with myself. So where I hated, for the high school athlete, so high school athletes aren't being recruited like they used to be anymore, which now means high school kids aren't being looked at. And there are a lot of missed opportunities for high schoolers to go to school, which for a lot of high schoolers, that was the outlet to go to school. You might be a first generation college
you're
student.
talking about the effect of the portal too.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's what I was going to get to.
Yeah,
So since you brought it up, I didn't bring it up. Since you brought it up, so the portal has become this thing now, is where I'm not fighting through what I need to fight through to get on the court or to get on the field. I'm just going to pull myself out and I'm going to just go somewhere else. And I'm going to see if I can play there. And if I don't like it there, I'm going to just pull myself out and go somewhere else. You got college athletes that have been to 3 and 4 and 5 schools. Oops, I'm sorry. And no knock to them. Like, you're trying to figure out your way. You're trying to figure out your lane. But where it bothers me is when it doesn't turn into something. So you just did all that, right? Now you have no more eligibility. Now you got it. Now and this is going back to the conversation. Now you're calling Brandon, or you're sending me a message on LinkedIn. Hey, Brandon, I'm such and such. I was an athlete, such and such, and I went here. I'm thinking about getting into that space because you don't know what you want to do with your life, because now you done spent 4 or 5 years transferring from school to school to school. And I'm not saying this is all of them that reach out to me. So I just want to kind of say that. But now you're trying to figure out life, and now you're 26, 27, 28, and you're trying to fast track it. Hence why, and it's so funny how things come back around. Hence why these people are asking for, I need $200,000. I never really had a real job, but I need 200. I need 180. I need 150. So that's one thing, and why I hate it, because of what the portal has allowed the NIL thing to be. High school athletes, like my kids. I have kids. I have one that just went to school. He's in college now, but he was an athlete. I have a son that's a junior. He's also an athlete. But it changes the way that schools are recruiting now. So instead of me, if you're an athlete at and I'm just using a school, if you're an athlete at Alabama, you got somebody else that's an athlete at Villanova, but you're a senior, right? So you're coming to the end of your career. You decide to graduate, or you go to the league or whatever, right? Instead of me recruiting, which is typically the thing, to kind of replace that position, right? So I can get a kid in here from a high school. Instead of me going out and doing a regular recruiting thing, instead, oh man, there's another kid over at Villanova, same position as you. He's got 2 years in, so he's got the college experience. I don't really have to put him through the whole, you know what I'm going to do? And because of NIL, you know what I'm going to do? Let me go to, there's this thing called the collective too. So that's a whole nother thing, is NIL. Let me go to the collective, ask them for $200,000. So now I see this kid at Villanova and I'm like, hey, although I know you're good over at Villanova, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I got $200,000 for you if you put your name in the portal, and I'm going to come grab you out of the portal and you come over here to Alabama. So now that kid that plays your position in high school, like I said, this could be his only opportunity of just experiencing what college is for him and his family. Now that doesn't happen. So now he's got to figure out, he might get an opportunity at another school, but he also might not, because those recruiting opportunities are not there. So that's the hate part for it. And I say that because I'm so closely connected to my kids, and of course my kids, and then their friends who are athletes and who I watch work hard all these years. And now they got to kind of deal with that. So that's that love hate. But I do think that athletes, absolutely, I think they should be compensated, but we need to find a way to regulate this thing to where it's not, oh, I'm an athlete, I'm making more than my coach. I don't necessarily have to listen to you, coach. Like, you're telling me to do this. And the coaches have to walk on thin ice too, because guess what? Now I have to be delicate in how I treat you, because I don't want to lose you. Because if I lose you to another school or to the portal, now alumni and the collect, they're on my head. My job's on the line. So now I have to be delicate about. That's why I believe a lot of these Hall of Fame coaches have just said, you know what, I can't. And some of them have came out and said, I can't compete with this NIL thing. It goes against what I've done for the last 30 years. I can't build programs the way that I'm used to building a program, because the first thing a kid asks me now, instead of them asking, hey, you got a 4-year scholarship for me, or the parents, now the parents are, well, how much you going to give my son if he signs with you? And that's a crazy conversation to have coming from high school going to college, when it wasn't like this 5 years ago. Like, it was about getting a scholarship and going to a school where I'm going to be able to play ball, but I'm also be able to get a free education. Now it's how much money you going to give my son? And that's the parent family effect, right?
Yeah. So leaning in a little bit more.
Keep going.
So leaning in a little bit more.
I'm here now.
Are you here? So what do we do then? Like, what is your fix? Brandon Best for president of NIL.
So I'm gonna tell you,
fix?
and you know, I'm not any of the lawyers that are sitting in the room. I'm not on Capitol Hill as they try to figure it out, and I don't necessarily think politicians really need to necessarily be, but they are. I don't think they necessarily need to be involved in it. But for me, here's the thing, and it's not ironed out, but it could be. This is like the basis of what I would do. If I'm in charge and they're like, well, implement a strategy. I think you put, and there's a reason why, because, and I'll just say this before I say that, there's a reason why I say what I'm about to say, because now you create a divisiveness in locker rooms too, because now you got an athlete that makes $9 million and maybe one other athlete might be making 100 or 200. You may have somebody making 50, 25, but you create this divisiveness in the locker room. And I don't necessarily think that, it's healthy for building programs and building teams. So what I would do is I would find a way. And once again, this is not official. This is just my thoughts. And of course, it would need to be ironed out by the professionals. But what I would do is I would build a system. You got high school athletes. They're already ranked, right? You got the ESPNs of the world. They're NFLs of the world. They're already ranking these kids in 11th grade, right? So you figure out a system. If you got your top 100, that top 25, they're considered an A athlete. Then you got your next, maybe you do the next 50 athletes, they're in that B category. Then the next 25 is a C category. So you figure that out, right? And those athletes, so the A athlete makes $150,000 a year going into school, right? The B might make 100, the C might make 75. So each year you're in school, and this kills a couple birds with this one stone. Every year you're in school, you have the opportunity, depending on how you perform, because, NIL is based off of that too. Like you have an organization that likes you today, but you ain't performing. You go to another school, they don't have to pay you what they was paying you last year. So same thing, depending on how you perform and you maintain and you stay in school, right? So that first year, let's say this, $150,000 for that A athlete, $50,000, and I'm just using numbers just to make it easy. $50,000. All right, you got that. Here's your money, whatever. Take care of your family, spend money, do this, do this. That $100,000 though goes into an escrow account. You don't necessarily touch it. So if you stay for your senior year, right, then it goes up. Say it bumps up 100,000. Now it's 250. You're not your senior year, your sophomore year. Now it's 250. 75. Put in your pocket. Take care of the stuff you need to do, family, everything. The rest goes in escrow. So now you got that 150 plus, what you got there, and it keeps building each year. So you know what that does? It's a consistency across the board, right? That divisiveness, it may still be there because some athletes aren't necessarily, but it doesn't create that big gap. So now it does a couple things. It motivates you to stay in school, right? Instead of you just trying to leave. And then there should be some regulations around if you transfer, this changes, whatever. So it motivates you to stay in school. So go through the program. Now, if you go pro and you drafted and you a lottery pick, that's different, right? Like you're going to leave, you're going to make millions of dollars at that point. But majority of athletes don't go pro and they don't make that kind of money. So it sets you up. So now when you graduate, let's say you go through all 4 years, when you graduate, you now have this bulk of money in escrow, right? That you can use to start your life. You can buy a house. Maybe you want to start a business. You can do this. So at the same time, you were making money throughout school, but you got this bulk of money now that is handed to you. Go buy your first house. It may be $500,000. Like, go use it as a down payment. Go do this. But you have opportunity to set your life up.
Brandon, that's an amazing idea because one, it gives you buy-in to the school. Right, it gives you buy-in to the school.
Exactly.
You're not so anxious to move around.
Exactly.
However, though, what it does is create a nest egg and a setup for you to be good. Like, what I'm saying? You're talking generational wealth, right? Because if I have money and I have stewardship of that money and I have a plan that was set aside for me, when I go take the next deal, I'm not so anxious because I'm not needy.
There you go.
Right? Because if I stayed here for 5 years and I made $500,000, and technically I'm not judging anybody currently.
Sure.
But but cats growing up in college, $50,000 a year is a great amount of money, right?
Man, let me tell you something, man. Man, if I had $5,000 a year when I was in college, man, that's like a lot of money. But this is what I keep getting at too. Like, and a lot of these athletes that are now coming through this whole process, that are kind of in that senior year or they're freshmen in college, they don't realize. And I had these conversations across the board. They fail to realize, because all they think about is the money. I reiterate this heavily. This did not exist 5 years ago. This was not a thing. So if you were 5 years older, you would have been a decent athlete, but you would have been worried about getting a scholarship to a school to play. You wouldn't have been able. Ron Artest talked about it before. Like, he couldn't even afford. Now, he was a dominant athlete at Syracuse. He lived in New York. He couldn't even afford a train ticket just to get home on the weekends. Like, but he put the work in the grind, of course, to get to where he got to and made it and played professional ball. But there's a lot of athletes like that. So that's why I try to always let them know or remind them, like, yo, 5 years ago, this was not a thing. It wasn't a thing. Like, so that's what I would do. Once again, that's not no official plan, but
no, it's a great plan.
I think it helps the situation.
If I get the vote, you know what I'm saying? If I get the vote, I'm voting for Brandon on this conversation.
Oh, man.
But no, it's a good discussion, because I know for me, I've been enjoying, name, image, and likeness.
Yep.
But I've also said, like, this is a thing that's happening in the world, period, today. So it's like, to me, my marketing mind goes, is like, I understand why you want to sell jerseys, put money, you know, these kids sell jerseys, like that thing. But I also am concerned about the inconsistency. And then also, too, you know, I don't know, there's a part of me that is processing this, but as a black guy, you know what I'm saying, as a black man, growing up as a black kid, you have moments where you had to grow up quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Sometimes with this continued adolescence that's being experienced in this moment.
Seriously.
Where it's like, oh, you can quit this and leave. You can quit this and leave. Like, now I will, you know what I'm saying, you're a little bit older than me. You consider yourself what generation? Millennial?
Yeah. I'm still, man, I'm right there.
I know,
I'm 1982, so that's kind of like that.
Everyone makes up terms and knowledge.
I know. All this new stuff. Because honestly, I only know I'm a millennial. But if you was asking, if I was something else, I probably even wouldn't know what to even call myself. So
correct. So I go, anybody under 45 is a millennial to me. But anyway, in our generation has left more jobs than the generation before, right? You know what I'm saying? We transition. We don't do I'm locked into this facility for 15 years, right?
Yeah.
So I think in general, we birthed a little bit of this culture, right? This environment, right? But in general, cats leave for less, like, you know what I'm saying? And so I think in general, what you're talking about is just something I think about is good. Is like accountability, right? Like even jobs that are corporate jobs require you to do certain things to hit certain limits, certain aspects, and those guidelines are helpful for your growth. One more question about somebody else. LeBron James and Bronny James, right? This whole father figure, this father duo situation in the sports. Yeah. Like, what do you think about? Well, first of all, the marketing dollars is amazing. Like
jeez. Yeah, I wish I thinking about going over to that side, man.
Bro, the money is crazy on that.
Jeez.
But yeah, like tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the situation, from a sports from a sports person.
Yeah, for sure.
But then also from a marketing standpoint. Like, is it beneficial? Is it good for the league? If it's, you know what I mean? Like all those things.
Yeah, 100%, man. The league is strategic, and the league knows exactly what it's doing. Mm-hmm. And I love it. First of all, I absolutely 100% love it. I'm a LeBron fan, big time LeBron fan.
He's my GOAT.
Being able to see him, like, from where he came from and watching him in high school and then just kind of growing, and the stuff that he's done, man. And for me personally, like, the family piece, right? Like, just to see what he has, it without the money, it reminds me of me and my family, minus a couple millions, a few millions. But I love that, and I love the fact that he's been able to, they really live a clean life. Mm-hmm. Like, they're a real true example to, what it looks like. granted, I'm sure they go through this because we all do, right? We all have our stuff, right? My pastor used to say, I got problems, you got problems, all God's children have problems, right? So we all got problems, but their example of like what a family looks like when they're out and about, when they're in front of the camera, I love every bit of it. I love their family unit. So I think it was great, man. It was very emotional to just kind of see that thing come together when it came together. Now, do I think Bronny is NBA ready material? Do I think that position probably could have been somewhere else, like somebody that can actually like impact the team and do what they need? Now, granted, they're playing well too. So, but no, I don't. I don't think he's there. I think maybe he's a stay in school. For me, I think stay in school a couple more years. I know there's a sense of urgency in trying to get that thing done because LeBron, although he looks like he can probably play another 10 years for real.
That dude plays into his 50s,
dude,
dog.
it's crazy. He looks like he can play another 10 years.
He's my GOAT, right? He's my GOAT.
He is the GOAT.
Thank you, sir. Like with that being said, is if that man plays in his 50s, I don't know if it's just, I'm going to give it credit to his endurance and ability. But then I'm also gonna give it to credit because some of these cats is really soft. Cause you ain't putting the elbow on.
Well, yeah, they scared it. They scared to really hard foul him because he is the league, right? So it's like you got to think about it because man, if I do this to him, like I could be out the league next week. Like you know what I'm saying? Like LeBron's influence is different, but I think it's great. I think like I just said, I think the league hit the jackpot with this being able to happen. I think there were some people in the front office like. They don't care how he play. They don't care what he looks like. We need to get them on the court together because this is going to be good for the brand. This is going to be good for business. And you can see that. I mean, the commercials just started rolling and so it's good for the league. I mean, from my perspective and what I do every day, oh man, I'd be eating this up, man. I would be, oh man, 100%. I'd be eating this up right now.
It'd be all kind of nostalgia commercials like,
oh man.
Oh yeah, it'd be like, son, come on, it's time to get up for work.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, yeah, 100%. And you got to figure out a way to like, which I'm sure they're working on, just understanding this space, but they got to figure out a way to bring that King Griffey Jr., King Griffey Sr., James Sr., James Jr. They got to figure out a way to put something together.
If they do a Nike collab, like a blended sneaker.
So you kind of took what I'm thinking. I ain't want to mention it, but that's exactly what like. I got to talk to my friends over at Nike and just kind of see if I can get some intel because I got some friends over at Nike. So.
You have friends.
Yeah.
Your friends are becoming my friends.
I got some friends in a couple places.
Hey, man, praise God. Praise God for your friends. I'll sit on the other end of the table. I'm hanging. But speaking of marketing, folks, because we got to wrap up soon, bro, I got a Q&A section. I'm going to ask you some questions real quick that was sent in from some folks.
Yep.
And, bro, I've been enjoying this conversation.
Man, me too, man. I appreciate you for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, do you feel like you have to choose between your faith and your career in marketing?
Nope, I don't. That's easy for me. Nope. And once again, that can depend on what vertical you in. Like if you out there in that rock and roll space and you on the road and you that's a whole different world. So you might have to. That's something I've been blessed that I didn't. Also something I never wanted to put myself in anyway. So I don't never want to compromise my faith in what I'm doing for a living for sure.
Have you ever felt out of place in the in marketing inner circle?
Yeah, I mean, I have. Yeah, that comes with growing too. Like, I mean, I've dealt with periods of that imposter syndrome once upon a time in my career, like where I just feel like, man, I'm not good enough. I'm not supposed to be in these rooms. But in going back and referencing our former President Obama, like once you start talking to people in those circles, you really do realize, I belong here. I'm supposed to be here. I can have these conversations. Yeah.
No, that's a good point. Is high-level marketing just a game of who you know?
That can be.
Okay.
There are politics in the space. So you do. That's also some research you should often do and just dig into that. But there is politics in this space as well. Okay.
What's one of the I'm gonna get this right. What's one unspoken rule in marketing that you wish didn't exist? You like these questions?
Yeah. So there's an unspoken rule, like in the level of marketing, like don't become a fan. Do the work. I'm around a lot of athletes and celebrities, and you have to put that kind of that fanboy, fangirl thing to the side so you can do the work, get the work done. I'm way past that state, like years and years and years past that state. But I know when we bring people in, you can see I do kind of wish that didn't exist because some of these celebrities want that. So,
is it possible to be authentic in an industry that's all about image?
I believe you can. I think Steph Curry is a prime example of that. I think he does that very well, being his authentic self, his beliefs. He's not always Gucci down or Louis Vuitton down, but I do believe so.
Okay. Next question. Does the marketing world really care about community, or is it just profit?
All right, so let me see how to answer that so I don't get in trouble.
Let's take.
Well, you know what? But it is what it is. Like, I ain't getting in trouble. Some organizations is just about image. Some organizations is just about image, and then some genuinely do care. I think we've seen, and a lot of people were exposed post George Floyd, and that's all I'll say.
Are HBCUs overlooked in the marketing world, or is that changing?
No, they are overlooked. But when you got people like me that's going to advocate and be that middleman and use the relationships that they have and able to lean some of these organizations into that way, they aren't. But ultimately, though, majority, they are overlooked. You just have to have the right advocate. And that's where I come into play.
Yes, sir. So do me a favor. If you could give some folks some gems, what would you encourage the young marketing advertiser, creative director, the people in the world that, like, if you could encourage young Brandon, right? Like the dude who's sitting in a space where everyone has something charted out for them that they think he should do, but he wants to go a different way. Like, how would you advise him in this season of life?
I think for me, what I would tell people, or what I would have told myself, I think this is who I was at heart. And I kind of talked about it earlier today. I mean, I think don't just jump into the space just because you think you've seen this on TV or you see this. For real, like, understand the space, understand where you want to be. But I think first, find something that you're passionate about. So this space exists in a lot of different verticals, from music to sports to the arts, this to the creative side of things. Like, this advertising and marketing space is so broad. Like, you can be in any vertical and master this craft. So I think for the younger person, don't just settle because you see that attractive title. Like, find a vertical that you're interested in, because I guarantee you that makes your day-to-day so much easier, and it creates a longevity in the space, and you'll be able to do it for a long time and not wake up every day feeling like, I got to go to work again. But you wake up every day like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, let's go. Like, what am I going to do today? Like, what's new today? What's happening? So find that space that you're genuinely interested in. And if this is where you want to be, advertising and marketing, this literally exists in over 100 different verticals. Like, if you've always wanted to work for the FBI, but advertising and marketing is your thing, the FBI has an advertising and marketing vertical. If you want to work for the Department of Transportation, or they all have it. So find what you're passionate about and go down that route. That's what I would say. Like, don't just jump in it just because.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've really enjoyed this conversation. I enjoy most of my conversations with my family and friends, but sitting down with talking with the best.
That's what they call me.
That's your last name.
I ain't got no choice but to be the best.
Right, be the best. But I hope you got some nuggets from this conversation. And in general, I'm hoping that individuals watching this episode, that you're looking at yourself and saying, like, yo, what is it, that thing that I want to do, and how do I lean in? You can tell by the way Brandon moves and how he responds. Like, he's a disciplined individual. He tries to think through what he's doing. So if you can follow him on social media, look at him on LinkedIn, don't bother him too much, but pay attention to what he's doing and be encouraged. Man, I'm so grateful for you sitting down with me today, brother.
I appreciate you, man, for real, man.
Bro,
this is great, and it's always good to see you, man. Connect with you for sure.
Listen, man, You looking good, you know what I'm saying? You smelling good, you know what I'm
Trying,
saying?
man. I'm trying.
Ladies, he is married. Remember that. He is
I
married.
am. Shout out to my wife, man. She's
hardcore married.
yeah,
Okay,
and,
don't
the,
try
and the
nothing.
kids.
Don't try nothing. But yeah, bro, I'm thankful for you, man. I appreciate your encouragement to me, too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a lot of things that I'm navigating that we'll talk about offline. But, bro,
Absolutely, man.
Thank you again for your time today.
For sure. Anytime.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a good day. Listen, y'all live life on purpose, all right? Do it well. Honor God in all that you can do.
For sure.
Y'all have a great day.
Peace and blessings.